with Firefox now openly selling user data, many are looking to the forks of Firefox as an alternative. They got to get away from Firefox. They can't use No sane person can use Firefox anymore. They collect and sell your data. So you got to move to something else. Now, there's a number of open source forks of Firefox. One such is LibreWolf, and LibreWolf is probably one of the more well-known ones at this point, and many people are floating that as an option of a safe harbor to move to for your web browsing needs. Well, that LibreWolf web browser, that fork of Firefox, has declared itself to be, quote, very woke by design. The leader of the project goes on a rant about far-right beep holes and bans any reference to Lunduke or the Lunduke Journal. And basically sides with extreme censorship of anything that is right-wing politically. So if you're looking for a place that's a good safe harbor that's not Mozilla and Firefox, maybe LibreWolf is not it. This is of course all really kicked off this week when it came out that Mozilla says it can use your data however it wants inside of Firefox. It can collect your clicks, your types, your uploads, and sell it to advertisers and data miners and everything else. People have got to get away from it, right? LibreWolf has been around for a while now, right? It is a customized version of Firefox, which promotes itself as being focused on freedom and privacy. Well, that freedom apparently does not extend to freedom of speech. They are very, very pro censorship, it turns out. I started getting a bunch of notes from all sorts of you who started noticing that this was happening. The leader of the LibreWolf fork, a person who I do not know the real identity of, I've been trying to figure this out, named OHFP she/her, that is the person's name, OHFP she/her. I do not know if the person is a man or a woman, because I'd have never actually known a woman to say in their name, I'm a she/her. Everyone just knows that they're a woman. So I'm assuming it's a guy, but I don't really know. And I don't know the person's real name. And I don't know what other groups the person is affiliated with. None of that. It's all an extraordinarily black box. There's a whole lot of unknown stuff. Well, that individual, though, runs this project. And this person has gone on multiple rants now. Please keep Lunduke's stuff out of here. Lunduke is just a very terrible person. I do not see platforming far-right adjacent to openly far-right or anti-woke content or talking points even remotely as a legitimate discussion. Keep Lunduke away completely. He's not a reliable source for anything anymore nowadays and is rather openly anti-queer, anti-vax, racist, etc., and an utter beep hole in general. Doesn't seem to like me very much. More on that in a moment. And if I ever see anything racist, ableist, queer, or transphobic in here, or any kind of but political correctness, blah 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 blah. Basically, they go on to say that if anyone says anything that's political that they don't like, that they're going to ban that person. Now, the OHFP she/her person is the project administrator and the maintainer of the Linux builds for LibreWolf. And regularly is removing all sorts of links to anything relating to the story about Firefox, or any story that is posted by the Lunduke Journal, or even questions about the Lunduke Journal. So I heard about all that, and I'm like, well, I like to see things from my own eyes. So I joined their official Matrix chat channel. LibreWolf, if you go to their website, makes it clear that their primary place for organizing and discussion is a Matrix chat channel. So, okay, I will go where they are and talk to them. So I joined the chat channel as me, my name, Lunduke, right? So there's no ambiguity here. I jumped in and I said the following. Hello, LibreWolf crew. I have a few questions for a piece I am working on for next week, mostly related to the recent Firefox news. Is this an appropriate place to ask those questions of LibreWolf leadership, or would an email be preferable? End quote. It seemed reasonable to me. Realistically, I did mostly want to ask them about, thoughts of people defecting from Firefox and moving to LibreWolf, because people are talking about that. If you go on Mastodon or X or various forums, people are talking about, hey, I got to get out of Firefox. LibreWolf is an option. And so I wanted to ask them about that. What are their thoughts on that? Being a fork of Firefox, are they conflicted? Are they happy about it? What are their thoughts? So this OHFP she/her responded, quote, if you are the actual Lunduke, then I would in fact just ask you to leave. End quote. Okie dokie. And then I was banned. So I was banned completely. I'm not allowed to go there anymore. I cannot interact with them. They do not want to discuss anything with me. And the reason I was banned, they literally says you were banned from LibreWolf. Reason being Lunduke. Okay. Well, I mean, so they've joined the illustrious group of open source projects that make official policies where if you mention Lunduke, you get banned, right? I mean, like the Gnome Foundation did this. They actually made an official policy. If you say Lunduke, you get a lifetime ban. And they banned like core contributors and maintainers of their packages for saying the word Lunduke, right? Because if it's like Beetlejuice, if you say my name 3 times, it summons me and all heck breaks loose, right? I start doing weird things with chairs. It's crazy. And so after they did that, they then locked down their server, at least for a while, not allowing new people to join. And of course, I heard about that because, well, I still have a lot of people that are fans of the Lunduke Journal that are already in there screenshotting things for me and sending me to. I have eyes everywhere. The Gnome Foundation. I'm banned from everything there, but I still hear everything that goes on with the Gnome Foundation. So I hear it all anyway. And then it kind of continued to ramp up. They left the room invite only for a while to avoid unnecessary headaches, because they did not want Lunduke fans coming in, because I think they expected I was going to tell people, hey, this is happening, and I did over on X. And people in the chat room there were asking the LibreWolf folks, so what's the deal with Lunduke? Why spaz out over him? And people were very upset about it. And people were saying, hey, I'm just asking a genuine question. Why are we doing this? It seems kind of rude to just say, okay, call this person names and ban everyone from saying the word. To which OHFP she/her, the leadership of the project, said, you know what? And then banned anyone who said my name, and said, that's better. Now, interestingly, as this is all going on over on X, the LibreWolf official X account follows me on X and still does as of this moment. And they're active. It's not like they're not active. They're still posting and responding to people, and they still follow me over on X. So they follow me, but they forbid anyone from saying my name. Now, a few interesting tidbits here. There's been some concern, I think, raised about the leadership and development of the LibreWolf web browser. And I kind of started having the same questions as I was looking into this web browser a little bit, because even if they don't like me, maybe they're still an okay web browser to recommend to people, right? Just because someone doesn't like me doesn't mean they make a bad piece of software, right? So I wanted to look into it a little bit more, and I was having a difficult time, because if this is supposed to be a web browser that is something we can trust, right? That is secure, that is not collecting user data and whatnot, I kind of need to know who's making it, right? Because the reality is this. Firefox is predominantly open source. There's a couple of non-open source bits, but for the most part, it's open source. And LibreWolf is open source, right? So in theory, we could audit it. right? In theory, you can audit every single line of source code in the LibreWolf and Firefox web browsers. Go through every bit of it and make sure there's nothing stealing your data or obvious easy security backdoors or anything like that. But how many of you have actually done that? The reality is, no one does that. No one does that to Firefox in full. Realistically, no one does it to the Linux kernel in full. And those are with projects with hundreds and thousands of active developers, some of which are paid to work on it. And even then, they don't know every aspect of the project. The reality is, hiding little bits of backdoors and security vulnerabilities and pieces of ways to pilfer data is incredibly easy if you have a large code base, because it's difficult to audit, even if you have the know-how and desire to do so. It takes a huge amount of time, a huge amount of resources, and really most people just don't do it. So we do need to have a certain level of trust in the people that develop the web browsers and communication tools that we use, which means we need to know who they are. I mean, realistically, like if we're talking about Firefox, right? Okay, do I trust Firefox? No, but that's because of who they are. But realistically, if they were hiding behind anonymous pseudonyms and whatnot, and we had no idea who they actually were at Mozilla, I would trust them even less, right? When you know who people are, you can evaluate and say, okay, does this group of people, this corporation, this foundation, this project organization, they seem trustworthy? What associations do they have with other companies, with other governments, with other projects and agencies? What do they talk about on the internet, realistically, when they're not working on the project? These are all really straightforward things to ask of a project that is central to using modern computing as a web browser. And I'm not the first person to ask these questions. Over on Hacker News, let me see if I can read this here. Over on Hacker News, back over a year ago, people were saying the following. This when suggested to use LibreWolf. This doesn't sound appealing. This does sound appealing, but I don't see any information on who owns or maintains it. When you click on OHFP, the person that I just talked about, it leads you to an incredibly empty GitHub-ish thing with 7 total followers. That's not a good sign at all. About Us is completely missing, and that is extremely important to me. I would need a bit more trust, maybe even something like the EFF's blessing to use this. If you were being skeptical, would you trust them, and why? And people responded, they're like, yeah, you're right to be skeptical. There's really no reason given to trust the developers of LibreWolf, right? And now the developers of LibreWolf have come out and made it very clear in multiple statements that their purpose is a extremely political purpose, including censorship of people. Here's another statement from OHFP. It should be clear, I am very opposed to keeping things apolitical, meaning that this OHFP person wants to make sure things are political, because keeping things apolitical or trying to have a false balance is taking sides and is political. It sides with the oppressors. So LibreWolf should definitely be considered a very woke and certainly quite political project where queer and transphobia, racism, ableism, anti-vax stuff, etc. are not tolerated. I'll gladly see 100 racist people be pissed and leave if that makes only a single person from a disadvantaged/minority group feel safer, end quote. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating that is the case. I mean, even if you just simply questioned a vaccine, the goal of this LibreWolf Firefox fork is to censor you, to put you out, to make you not be welcome, right? I don't know that I want to use a web browser that has that viewpoint of anyone. Right? Like, I don't want a web browser that's like, I'm going to make it so people who are pro-vaccine are not welcome. No. I just don't want my web browser to care about vaccines. I want my web browser to not be thinking about vaccines at all. I don't want my web browser to think about racism or ableism or transphobia or whatever, which, by the way, isn't a thing. I'm going to get yelled at for that statement. But I don't want my web browsers thinking about any of this stuff. I don't want my web browsers siding with me politically and declaring that, ooh, people who are leftists should be wiped off the internet. We should do more than deplatform Democrats. Like, I don't want a web browser doing that. Like, that's not cool. That's not what a web browser's for. But yet Firefox has been doing that. And now people are saying, well, maybe I'll move to LibreWolf. Well, LibreWolf is doing that too, including banning me for simply existing. Reason for my ban from LibreWolf being Lunduke. Just glorious. Thank you to the Lunduke Journal subscribers for making everything I do possible. For proving time after time that there are sane, normal, reasonable, and rational, intelligent people in the world. Because sometimes when I go out and I cover projects like LibreWolf and Firefox, oh gosh, oh my God, it's difficult because I start thinking, is everyone like this? Is everyone this completely insane? And then the Lunduke Journal subscribers remind me, no. There's lots of really smart, normal people, probably most people. It's just that I have to cover all of the Firefox and LibreWolf folks too. So there you go. Is LibreWolf an option for moving away from Firefox? Probably not. I once again, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I recommend Brave. If you don't like Brave for whatever reason, I honestly don't know what to tell you at the moment. I'll keep researching into it and try and see if I can find a Firefox fork that I can feel reasonably comfortable with. There are a few others out there, but from what I've seen, all of them either are abandoned or have or lag significantly behind all the standard web technology, like they're based on really old code, or they are fully supporting the recent statements from Firefox, right? Like they're just like, yeah, Firefox did nothing wrong. Of course they can sell your data, right? So I'm like, okay, I've yet to find the Firefox fork that I can recommend people who use Firefox to move to. So right now, my recommendation is Brave. Thank you again to all the Lunduke Journal subscribers, lunduke.com. Click on all the links. Links are great. You love links. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerds and nerdettes, across the big ol' inner tubes, I do declare, end broadcast.